You're listening to Game and Chat, where we level up with conversations about gaming then and now. I'm your host, Daniel, aka One to Switcheroo. So let's press start and game on. Welcome everyone to Season 2 of Game and Chat, streamed directly to your favorite podcast platform. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, or all of the above to support the cause. And with that being said, welcome everyone. This one, it is gonna be amazing because this is a celebratory episode. Today, we're gonna talk about not only one of my favorite fighting game of all time, but my top 5, I would say even top 3 favorite game of all time. Game franchise, to be very specific. It is time, people, to talk about the big one, the great, the amazing Super Smash Brothers. To think about Super Smash Brothers as a franchise is an understatement because of how big it became throughout the years. With every iteration that we had about this game, it became clear that this is a celebration of gaming in general. How this is like even an event, an online event that everybody tunes into and looks forward to when it's around, and of course when it's about to be released, when development's still undergoing. You know, we all done it on the late years, all sitting down, watching that Nintendo Direct, waiting for that Smash announcement or what the next character would be, or just any information in general. But it's all about the characters in this game and how it just became the topic of conversation online for weeks, months, up until his upcoming release. And this is something that you don't see every day. This is something that it can only be done because of the person that made this game. And we're going to touch on this person on a whole section of the podcast because it is generally one of the people that I admire and I look up to the most in this genre, in this industry, and just as a person in general. But anyway, Smash Brothers. What can I say about Smash Brothers? Smash Brothers has been a game present my entire 35 years of life. Well, maybe 30, of course, but ever since the game came out all the way back to Nintendo 64, it's been hours and hours of joy. I play with friends, I play with families, I play online, I play offline, I play tournaments, and we all share this passion of being here in the celebration, on the biggest celebration of gaming, which is this game, this franchise in general. And we're going to talk about this on different levels. The structure of this episode will be a little bit off in regards to the previous ones because I want to talk about this game based of reflection, based of nostalgia, based on anecdotes, but also based of what it means for the industry, not only before but even after, from the days of the N64 to the ultimate celebration on the Nintendo Switch. What the future holds, we don't know, but right now we're just gonna reminisce of why Super Smash Brothers shaped me as a player, as a gamer, I would say even as a person, and how it shaped the gaming industry, the standards of gaming development, and fighting games overall. So without further ado, people, welcome to this amazing episode of Game and Chat.
Super Smash Brothers, the crossover of a lifetime.
And of course, we're going to start going way back to that ad in the late 90s about a game where you can see Mario, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, and Pikachu just prancing around a park, and then they're starting dunking out at each other. And this is how Smash Brothers was presented. And the fact that there was a Nintendo game that would bring all these franchises together and then you see all this like crazy advertising for it. Was really, really interesting. And at first it's like, how can they make something like this to work? Especially because back in the day, yes, we had fighting games like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, arcade-based games with your traditional button input methods. And then there's Smash, which is sort of like a platformer, but at the same time a fighting game. So it kind of didn't make sense in the first place. But then you started playing it and it was like, oh my god, it's actually freaking cool. And it's just how it presents itself, and like just thinking of this concept of having like different characters from different game franchises like fighting each other. This is something that us like millennials like blew our minds as kids, and how it became basically, since it came out, is basically part of the childhood routines. Afternoon with friends, all those matches chaotic with the items, shouting and laughing, and snacks everywhere. Like literally all the things that we did, I think throughout my maybe like 5th and 6th grade, was literally just like go in the afternoon to my neighbor's house, play Smash for a few hours, have snacks, and then come back home. Similar to the story about the Mario Kart and staying there over, it happened the same with Smash. But it is just crazy to think how this is like a game that brought together a lot of things, and it actually brought me closer to my friends too, because it really made part of the gaming aspect social. Because at that moment, you're still like struggling to find your friends and your friends from school and all that, and he actually took me out of the comfort zone and made me like just go and experience the game in a most social way. And it really strengthened my friendship with my friends at the moment. And he actually brought the conversation of like Mario Kart being the couch multiplayer game at the time, but now we had Smash, which is a completely different genre, but also as entertaining and as unifying. I don't know if that's the right term to put it, for gamers to get together and play and have a great time. And it really is a core memory that all of us 90s kids have in our minds. And it really is amazing how this evolves so much. And not only with the first iteration on N64, of course, but then Melee became basically like a cult following afterwards. And then Brawl, we have a little bit of a stumble, but we got the greatest gaming crossover story mode of all time. And then on 4, we kind of a little bit of a stumble again, but we ended up with Ultimate, which is, as the name stands, the ultimate celebration. This is a game that for any like first timers, whether your first game was Smash 64, whether the first game was Melee, whether your first game was Smash Brothers Ultimate, it makes an impact and it creates a core memory and reflects on the reason of why we became gamers and we love video games in the first place. We have these characters that we admire, that we fantasize with, and see them come together in a social, fighting manner. It's kind of like a dream come true. It's kind of like that feeling, like, for example, you remember that episode of Power Rangers that met with the Ninja Turtles? That's how it feels. But now we had this on a video game, which is even better because you have the ability to interact. That's how big it feels for me when it comes down to like crossovers. It's like the biggest crossovers in pop culture in general. You can say the same about music, when your favorite artist collaborates with your other favorite artist, and it's like your dream come true. I think this is like the best way to put it for people that are not into gaming. This is what Super Smash Brothers means for the gaming industry, and the fact that he made it this far and it became such a cultural phenomenon is just a statement of its legacy. And since we touched on the subject of like how I gathered together with my friends at home back in the day to play this game, I want to talk a little bit about this childhood rivalry I had. So this is a bit of a story time. And so for my good friend which also name is Daniel. Daniel, I don't know if you're listening, but I hope you do, and I hope you get a quick chuckle about this. So Daniel, he leave a building across from my building. It's like the same condominium, 2 buildings. So we used to go to each other's houses like after school to play video games. And he was the first person that actually owned Smash Brothers, so I used to go to his house more often. And we will play this game, and for some reason, he was so good at this game that I couldn't beat him. I tried with so many characters. I tried Yoshi, I tried Pikachu, I tried Mario, but he just would kick my butt with either Fox or Yoshi, which is I remember being both amused and upset about it, and I would get a little salty about that, and I'm sure he can agree. But I don't know why, but this actually made me love the game even more, and this actually continued throughout the years. And I think is the most traumatic experience, because how we switched from the kind of like mid pace of Smash Bros. 64 to now the fast pace, the crazy inputs of Melee. And of course he was a Fox main. You guys know he was a Fox main, and I was the one trying to absorb him with Kirby or spamming Link arrows and bombs. I ended up picking up Samus in the end on Melee, but even as she was my best performing character, I could just not get a grasp of him. I don't know. He actually made me really upset, but also motivate me to like really, really get good at the game. And then at the end of the day, when my cousin have a GameCube and we got the game, I remember just playing hours and hours trying like to get better at the game, but also like to beat all like the event matches, which was really, really cool. At the moment, we would like stay up like all night trying to unlock Mewtwo. We didn't know how to unlock Mewtwo until we actually kind of like look it up, and literally we just had to like leave the game console on for like 2 days, something like that, in order to get it done. But then it really like, looking back, it actually made me a better gamer without realizing all those losses. And I just find it funny, like something simple as losing in Smash like actually made me a better player, and taught me a little bit of patience too. I think a lot of my patience that I use nowadays is because of this game, because no matter how many times I try, I could never beat this guy. I ended up beating him maybe like once or twice. If I were to remember exactly how, I couldn't mention it right now, although it should have been a core memory, I tell you that much. But the fact that even in later years when Brawl came out and then Smash 4, you can actually see like the gap was getting like closer and closer to me being on a high competitive level. But right now, of course, we are grown adults and we parted ways to our own lives, and we didn't get to test each other on ultimate setting, which I think is like my best performing game to the point. Listen, I don't even know if the guy plays Smash anymore, but it would be really fun to go back and reminisce. So, Daniel, if you're listening, if you ever come to New York, please let me know. I will happy to, to catch up and like just play some games like in the good old days, and see if even without you potentially not playing this game for years now, still can kick my butt. You probably do. You probably will, but I'm sure I can hold my own a little bit more now. But yeah, I mean, memories like this, I'm sure some of you who are fans of this game from years to come have like stories like this, and how it really makes, like I said, core memories, fandom, excitement, because you can always play this game and feel entertained no matter what. And this is only talking about just like the casual aspect of things. The competitive aspect of this game evolved monumentally, and this actually happened since the days of Smash Bros. Melee, when it turns out to be the best fighting game, and it became sort of like a cult following at this point, on which people might debate if like Melee is still the best Smash Brothers. I'm not sure if I completely agree with that statement. However, I do understand how big of an impact that was, especially coming from Smash 64. Like the jump on graphical and visuals was just insane. We're gonna touch that on each iteration in a little bit, but I feel like I never been more impressed with a graphical update ever since I saw the Smash Melee intro, which it was insane just to experience that just like that. And you know, it's I keep going back and forward, and I keep, like, as I'm retelling this story about, like, my neighbor and the rivalry that we used to have, it is kind of nice, and it kind of gives me a little bit of a warm feeling on my chest. I just really wish that we can have something. I feel that we have something similar back nowadays. Well, yes, I mean, again, we're in a different stage of our lives, and we just evolve, survive, and adapt. It's like those feelings that even just seeing someone living through that feeling through the younger generations is kind of sort of like heartwarming. I feel like I said, online gaming, while convenient and amazing as it is, it kind of took away a little bit of the warmth, of the sensation of the couch co-op, of the couch multiplayer gaming. And when I always look back and think about the game that really brought us together and also torn us apart, I still would think Mario Kart takes the cake on the torn apart. I think Smash is kind of like, you know, if you're stretched, you just like beat each other off a little bit in the game, and then, you know, we're friends again. Whereas in Mario Kart, if I throw you a shell right at the end of the goal and then I beat you, or somehow you end up last after that, I feel that the hatred is gonna go on for days. But anyway, this is just a little bit of a taste of like how this game brings people together, and even in the online era as it is, but now how, especially how Ultimate was handled with the trailers, the development cycle, the reveals, and all that. It only tells you that this game, this franchise, this cultural phenomenon is not going anywhere anytime soon. But one thing I did do, and I'm very proud of, but not really, is that there was this Melee tournament that happened. I think we were, 11, 12 years old? And I, you know, of course, I just went for the fun, and, you know, the game was already out. We weren't really, like, had the game by this stage. But we want to just try the game, so we entered the tournament, and, you know, none of us didn't expect to make it in, and we were only using Smash 64 as practice. But then somehow, in some way, we got like drafted. We're playing like 4-player matches, and then like the first 2 we like move forward or something like that. And well, would you know that Mr. Daniel, the one is talking to you, the one I'm talking to you right now, actually made it to the quarterfinals of that tournament by simply accident, because all the stages that I got up until that point was Icicle Mountain for the ice climber stage, and all I did is jump and survive. So at the moment, I remember I was Captain Falcon, because I believe my neighbor was Captain Falcon, so I wanted to be Captain Falcon because I wanted to be as good as him. Look at me. So we were like on this month. They actually got like drafted on the same TV for that first 4-player match, and then when I see that I was the only survivor, along with the second place being I don't remember who they play as, and they basically kicked my neighbor out, and they keep me in the room and said, oh my god, I was actually freaking out a little bit, and it was really fun to see for real that, oh my god, I actually made it farther than you for once. And then we got to the second stage, to the second round, which also they were all 4 players. Then we got to the second round, and again, Icicle Mountain. So I did the same thing. I kept my distance. I kept jumping. Everybody kept dying to the hazards. I tried to avoid them as much as I could, but I ended up winning again, and just like that, I made it to the quarterfinals on the big screen on the projector. But then I was the first one to go out. They really, really kicked my butt when I actually made it to the big screen. So sadly, that's where my run ended. But I was very happy that at least have that on my belt. While I couldn't beat him legally, the stage did it for me. In the end, it didn't matter. He still kicked my ass in all and melee for a very, very long time. So that is just really fun to point that out, because it really didn't matter that I lost on that round. You know, it was like kind of like the end, you know, taking it to a little bit of a deeper level. This is kind of giving me like the first taste of like the gaming crowd, or like being part of something bigger, because I do remember seeing a lot of people there, and I was like, wow, all those people play Smash. I thought it was just for like me and like my friends. Like, you don't really get the scope of how big things are up until when you do them. And I feel like this like public exposure of a gaming tournament give me that sense of idea of like, oh wow, this game actually is really, really, really something. But moving fast forward to today, and like, you know, in the past like 8 years that the game has been out. Wow, 8 years, really, almost 8 years, 7 years if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, Smash Ultimate came out, celebration of the final franchise, and I was deciding on what content to stream. And when I started streaming Mario Maker 2, more on that in a previous episode of Game and Chat. If you want to take a look, Mario Maker 2 episode, please check it out. But I always say, and this came up on the conversation also when I decided to stream, is like, what about Smash? I would say, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really cut to play online on Smash, so I feel like I'm gonna get embarrassed, and I'm gonna get very, very humble, especially coming from the trauma with my neighbor. But at the end of the day, you know what? I said that there's nothing to lose. I'm just started streaming. It's not like I'm expecting like 100 people to watch me play anyway, so let's just do it. And then I started streaming, and I started playing Smash, and it was really fun at first. Didn't have much people coming into the arena, so I had the arena open, of course. And then we started a couple of people like playing and having fun. And like, even when I lose, and I remember my first match, my first streaming, I did not win a single match of the game. And I was like, but then I was looking for like some sort of like judgmental answers from chat and stuff, and then I realized, oh wow, they're actually not doing that, and they're actually being very welcoming and giving me tips and stuff. So it kind of felt nice. So I did it again, and again I lost all my matches. Then I did it again, and I won my first 2 matches, and yeah, and then it started from there. And I believe that as I played more and as I got my ass kicked, it really, really like improved my gameplay and my style, and it taught me a lot of things, so like how I play the character or what character to play, and like take in consideration a lot of like technical details of the game that I wasn't even aware of. I learned what frame rate was, frame data, and you know, like some like techniques like Tekken and like the how to like not get knocked out of the stage or like hit the wall kind of thing, how to properly use the air dodge, and a lot of things that I consider being too much actually now are like core part of my gameplay style. So I would say that after a little bit of streaming the game several times, I find myself in a very comfortable place, and very comfortable, especially after my favorite characters Banjo-Kazooie came out, which we'll get there, people, don't worry. We'll get to the character selection screen and like all my reactions overall. But just I started feeling like I got a glimpse of like what felt to really like be like competitive, somewhat competitive online with people, you know, learning combos, practicing movement. And when I look back into all this like stream data and like videos of me like playing the game, you can really see the evolution of my style, and I'm kind of very proud of myself that I got to myself to that point, to the point that even people from like the professional people like play this game professionally, go to tournaments like 5 times if not all year long, came to tune into the stream and played, and it was great to get like praise and like feedback from them. But more so when I was, for some miracle of life, I managed actually to beat them. Not consistently, but beat them nonetheless. And it was such an amazing feeling that, oh my god, maybe I'll have a chance against Daniel after all. Oh man, yeah, he really traumatized me my Smash days as a kid. But moving away from that, it really showed me a lot of things, and adaptability, timing, how to read your opponent's movements, how to learn character patterns. People that made a certain character might behave a certain way, or might expect certain behaviors. Zoners will be zoning, close combat characters will be rushing you down, grapplers will be constantly grabbing you or try to get you to the edge of the stage so they can grab you and throw you off, because that will be like the killing blow. I'll see you, NES players and minions. But yeah, I mean, you really learn a lot, and there's like a level of depth in the game that while you enjoy this game casually before, if you really like delve into this game and you started learning like the little like nits and picks of the competitive gaming, it's like another kind of worms opens, and this game becomes even more than you thought it is. It's like, oh, so there's a reason why there's a heavy class. There's a reason why some characters are heavier than others, other than size. There's a reason that other characters are easy to knock out of the platform than others because of lightweight. Like, there's a reason why Jigglypuff just like goes up and gets killed once you break her shield. Things like that you never think about. You like, why is this designed like this? Like, the game is glitched. Everybody should like act and behave the same. But especially when you even like take it to the context of how the development, and again, shout out to Masahiro Sakurai, we'll get there, but like, oh my god, that guy is insane. And how he actually took in consideration the characters, like their orange in game aspects and behaviors, not only for like the design in general in terms of aesthetics, but also on their moveset and like how things should like behave like during gameplay. I mean, a very well example of this, you have, for example, the Pikmin with Olimar, like how you can just block. Mind you can only block 3 Pikmin, because if he calls the whole army, like, it's game over. But how the Pikmins can like die themselves when you hit them long enough, and like how they can help you reach out a little farther when you like knocked out the platform, or like how the weight of your character it's handle when you try to recover because of how many Pikmin you have out. Little things like that make the game special. And another example I could put this is like, for example, Cloud with the limit breaker. Then after you fill up the limit breaker bar, you get like a more powerful version of all his special moves, all his B attacks. And even so, like, with each reveal and each character that came after that was brand new, there was like a whole gimmick that kept the game fresh and that kept the game interesting. One thing that this game has in comparison to other like regular fighting games is like, yes, while regular fighting games, each character have its own gimmick. One is the sidekick, one is the brawler, one is the grappler. I think Smash takes it a step a little further, and like really makes you feel like you're actually playing the character from the game. Like, if you took the character from its original game and you put it in Smash and you have the same moveset, I mean, a better example for this would be, of course, Mario, Link, Banjo-Kazooie, Min Min with arms. Like, how do you even make that work in Smash? Steve from Minecraft, we'll get to Steve also, but it's just unbelievable to think how this was put on to work, and like the wizardry that this game entails, and how I literally believe that there is a character for everyone. And out of 89, 91 characters that are in the game, you always need to find your one and stick with it. Have 2 or 3 in the background, but this is the game that, like I said, it's a celebration of gaming, and almost every favorite people's character it would be in this game. So Whether it's high tier, low tier, I don't really believe in those tiers. It's just the character that you're comfortable with, and then the one that's gonna skyrocket you to success. So if you feel also fearful of like exposing yourself, or if you want to get better on the game, I highly recommend you play online and streaming it. Even like put yourself in the position, because exposure is the best way of learning, and is the trial and fail until you get it. And it only shows when you think about the evolution of the franchise and like how from 64 all the way up to Ultimate, how did we got here and how the reception was from that. So to briefly talk a little bit about each game, I know we've done a like scatter throughout the episode so far, but just to have a little bit of like how all started. I mean, we started with Smash 64. From the very intro of Master Hand grabbing one of the characters from a toy box and putting them in the desk, and then basically snapping the fingers and bringing them to life. It does feel like that. It's kind of like a reference, and that's clearly a reference to Toy Story, which was very popular in the day. Just grabbing this like favorite like video game character and like bring them to life, and you controlling them and they put them to fight with other characters to see which one is best. As basic as the concept was, it was amazing to see, Mario dunking it out against Pikachu, or Jigglypuff putting Luigi to sleep, and Capital Falcon punching freaking Yoshi up to Millennia. So, the core game concept that Smash 64 brought in the very beginning was awesome, and I think it's still even like kind of like everlasting. Yes, you might look back at the game, it might have like aged like milk in terms of visuals, but it's kind of like a nostalgia visual style that you can always go back and like have a little bit of a warm fuzzy feeling about it. And if you want a refresh of that too, I cannot stress enough for you to try and play the Smash remix. This is a PC one. It's a ROM hack from Smash 64 of someone that is kind of like the fan-made Sakurai, and is actually expanding upon this game, adding characters. We're talking about the likes of Mewtwo, Marth, Banjo-Kazooie, King Dedede, Bowser, and expanding the Smash 64 roster with the Smash 64 playstyle and moveset. And it actually feels like these characters, all those people, have been there the whole time. So definitely check it out. It's called Smash Remix. You can look it up on YouTube. This person is constantly updating the game. I don't know how long it's gonna go. I don't know if it's over already. All I know is it's a work of art. They keep adding stages, modes, quality of life improvements. So definitely the ultimate Smash 64 experience that you can possibly get. Again, if you have an original ROM of Smash, I highly suggest you to use that to modify the game. Do not download any ROMs online. Nintendo's very active right now with people doing bad stuff, so please take care of yourself. But anyway, then we move to Melee, which, as I said before, this was a leap of a century when it comes to graphical objects. From the moment you see these characters, and from the moment you see the intro cutscene of Smash Bros. Melee, the jaw drop. And I remember seeing this for the very first time, like I think we were like on the mall or something, or like somewhere that like sells stuff, and then we went to the video game section, and then all the flat screen big back TVs that were still all back in the day, you could see Mario playing and looking as is on the art box, and then Link, and then you realize that Zelda now is a playable character, and Princess Peach and Bowser, and they all look exactly as they look on the box art. And it was like, wow, like this is where we at right now. Technology, am I right? And it was just unbelievable, and it was awesome to see, because we've never seen anything like that before, and it gave you an idea of the power of the GameCube, which was being released during that time period. And then the gameplay, like how tight and fast and improve upon. How satisfying was to hear those like punches and kicks, and how responsive the game was. Also how glitchy, but yeah, responsive nonetheless. And it's kind of like makes the previous Smash game like unplayable because of how slow it felt. And nowadays that's what Melee made like the stamp on the gaming industry, on the fighting game industry, as like the quote unquote best Smash competitive game out there. And then we went to Brawl, which, like I said before, it was a little bit of step. It was a step forward, but also a step back. I feel like as Melee as popular it was in the competitive scene, it wasn't very accessible for the casual audience. And at the end of the day, Nintendo is known for its casual core audience. And moving to the GameCube to the Wii, they kind of take a step back into the casual direction, and they kind of make Brawl a little bit more accessible. And don't get me wrong, I truly enjoy Brawl's gameplay. I would say now that after playing like Ultimate and Smash 4 and then going back to Brawl, it's a bit of a pain because of how slow it feels. Just the characters alone. I do remember because, like I said, on Melee I main Samus, and Samus was pretty fast on Melee. So was Fox. Fox was like insane. Like, not only, that's why the whole meme exists of like Fox only, no items, final destination kind of thing. But I remember picking Samus, and I was very excited. Oh yeah, I wonder if she has new stuff. And then I started running. I was like, oh my gosh, she's slow now. It's like literally she was moving so slow. And not only her, like all the characters have this level of slowness. And then we got freaking Meta Knight, who broke the game, which basically it's a Melee character on like the slowest Smash Brothers out there. No wonder why he got banned and like break the game in general. I ended up maining Meta Knight at some point because it was the only character that felt like a smooth transition from the previous game. And yeah, I feel like while I understand what they were going for, I don't think it translated really well. What it did translate really well, and it still hasn't been topped by anything that came after, is the story mode. The Subspace Emissary is one of the most badass, sickest, and most amazing gaming crossover, quote unquote, movie on any game or in gaming. Like seeing actual cutscenes of all these characters from different worlds interact, it was something to be dreamed on, and it came out of like a fever dream kind of thing. And the whole like story was like how they're all being captured by Taboo, and like how Master Hand has actually been controlled by Taboo. You know, we can go into lore and Smash in a different video, but like how well crafted it was. And then when you actually go to the gameplay and like the stages make sense and they were still platforming, it was kind of like a very like expanded classic mode from the previous Smash. And then the world map and the lives and like some RPG-ish elements, it really made it freaking cool. And boy oh boy, like it really made us like crave. It was like, hey, how do we get this, but like with like modern graphics and like modern gameplay style? And I think that's what Brawl remains like relevant, is because the Subspace Emissary is something that we didn't see before, and as of this moment, I don't know if we're gonna see like that again. Then we had Smash 4. So Smash 4, that's a little bit of a confusing title. While the improvements were there, I feel that they scaled back a little bit on like the modes. Like there wasn't an adventure mode per se. We still had classic and Subspace Emissary and events, but not even that events as we know them. But I even tried to remember like much of a Smash 4, and all I remember is like the online features, because that was like the big thing back in the day. While Brawl introduced Wi-Fi connection on a Smash game for the very first time, it didn't run very well. So Smash 4 was the second one that runs somewhat better. Still could have done way better, but still was a lot of input lag. Seems like there's an issue that been like running through generations, even with Ultimate itself. But when Smash 4 came out, and you know, we got the clean visuals, more vibrant colors this time, kind of like distanced itself a little bit from like the whole Brawl quote-unquote realistic feeling. I feel like it's kind of in a mixed bag when it comes down to those change of art styles. I feel like with Ultimate kind of like blend both and it looks better. But it could look a little bit better, a little more like tied up. I wonder what's going to happen if there is another Smash, if there's a reboot, but we'll see then. But anyway, of course, Smash 4 brought the For Fun for Glory online modes where you can just play online with 4 players, or you can just do your rank battles as per se with that weird global Smash power system that I despise up on this point. I don't like the fact that, again, this is coming from a casual player, that I win 5 matches and I get 500 points, but then I lose 1 match and at least 2,000 points. It's like the reward versus the punishment is completely unbalanced, and I'm not very fond of that per se. But it didn't make it fun nonetheless. We got introduced to so many new characters. We got introduced to Cloud from Final Fantasy, our biggest crossover, and worth mentioning also in Brawl that we had our very big first crossover, which was Sonic the Hedgehog, and of course the whole Snake meme with Snake making it to the roster, but then being cut out of Brawl of Smash 4 because licensing, and that's how. And of course, the elephant in the room, which would be the release of Bayonetta as the last DLC player, and how she literally broke the game. It was like Meta Knight, but worse kind of thing. Well, the thing is that here's the thing. The thing is that you have characters here that can fight against Bayonetta, and there's more likelihood to beat Bayonetta on Smash 4 than likelihood to beat Meta Knight on Brawl, because Meta Knight was just like on a different level. It didn't feel like a different game. At least Bayonetta, while powerful and quick and combo as heck, there were still works around her. Very, very hard to achieve, but were still works around her. Again, to the point that she was banned in tournaments. But I feel like Smash 4 was kind of like in between, like shape up to what the last game on the list will come out to be, and that is Smash Bros. Ultimate. As the name states, is the ultimate celebration of gaming. It is Smash at its best. Not only the Madman brought every single character, including DLC and third-party license, back, but made them accessible to everybody. And basically, this game is like a museum of gaming. It's a playable museum of gaming. If you want to learn about games, where these characters come from, or get an introduction to the character so you can get to try the game, then Smash Ultimate is the game for you. No other game brings together so many worlds in one place. And what Smash Ultimate did is took like the cult level and took it to a different level. Every single time we had a reveal, from the moment of the revealing of Everyone Is Here on that first trailer, to Sora being the last DLC character from Kingdom Hearts that was speculated and wanted for so long, it was kind of like a gathering of watch all of our dreams come true. And this is something that will remain unbeatable for a very long time, if not forever. I don't think we're gonna get that Smash magic like we did with Ultimate. I'm very happy for Mr. Sakurai to prove me wrong. I'm sure he can, and I'm sure he's capable of, but the guy's getting up there in years, and we want him to have a healthy second half of his life. So please, Mr. Sakurai, while we love you and we want you to do everything for us, don't exert yourself. You deserve all your rest. But since we're talking about characters, we need to talk about the Banjo-Kazooie review. My little guys, my main in the game, the moment they came out, it have been my main ever since, and it was like a match made in heaven. That's what I keep telling everybody. There's a character for everyone. You have 89 characters to choose from. Maybe more, maybe less. I might miss the count. Don't give up on the game. Just find that character that you compatible with. If you like a lot of gimmicks and you want to be a Steve Bean, go ahead. If you want a traditional playstyle and like old school classic, Mario, Banjo can be you're a pig. The point is, just when I thought that I didn't know I have a fully main, Banjo-Kazooie came in, and it was amazing. And just to tell a little bit of that story. So there I was watching that Nintendo Direct, which started with the reveal of Hero from Dragon Quest, which in the meantime was like, yay, sure, another swordsman. That's awesome. Well, then the Direct went by, we got different cool announcements, and then in the end, turns out that we had another announcement coming up. Mind you, there were rumors. There's always rumors of these characters coming in, and that's the thing with this game also, like the speculation, it is insane. It was almost as crazy, if not crazier, than when people talk about Pokemon leaks, but this took it to another level. But anyway, then we see that we got the same intro that when King K. Rool was introduced, showing like all the different like main characters and the main villains fighting each other. And then everything starts playing the same. And then we said, wait, what's going on in here? Well, we have Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong. Now King K. Rool is also there too. And then it happens. Then the Jiggy comes to the screen and bounces, and everyone starts freaking out. And when I saw that on my TV, I was watching it. I had my puppies. I remember my husband was at work, and I was literally just like hopeless because they said, there will be this Smash character already. There's nothing else coming up. And then it happened, and then I was like, remember, it was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like. And then when I saw the whole, I mean, we know what's gonna happen at that point, like they show the silhouette, but then the whole like just kidding thing with, now this time with Duck Hunt, which was like the mock-up character for Smash 4 for being Banjo-Kazooie, quote unquote. And then the guys come down and get the dog out of the way, and then we hear the huh? And then Banjo-Kazooie are ready to go, and I was literally, and I'm not kidding you, I screamed so hard that I legit almost fainted when I realized that was real. And then we see the gameplay, and then we see the music for Grand Kirkhope playing in the background, and it was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this is not real, this is not real. I do not see my characters that I wanted for so long finally become a reality. This is me, 28, 29 years old, freaking out about a bear that I played 20 years ago. So I was so like in awe and disbelief that really did not know that was going to happen. And like the reveal basically was a wish from my childhood coming through. And we all had that reaction with at least one character that was revealed for each character revelation. And what this game did with all these characters, especially the characters that were revealed for the new games, is that this trend that started on Smash 4, and mind you, Smash 4, kudos for that, starting that trending of the game, of the character reveals on that style. It was just literally an event and a reason to watch Nintendo Directs up until this day. And Nintendo knows exactly what they're going to do when the next iteration comes out. If there is a next iteration. But that moment of magic can be taken away. And I had a sort of a second moment like that when Sephiroth came out, which was even like, mind you, I thought that reveal, while Banjo was crazy, but it's somewhat expected, I never would expect Sephiroth to make an appearance in Smash, especially after getting Cloud, meaning two Final Fantasy characters, two Square Enix characters, making it into a Nintendo platform, because we didn't have any Final Fantasy like not good games, that's not the right term, like good quality games, like remakes still wasn't a thing on the Switch. So it was crazy to see that happening in the first place. And it happened with Joker from Persona 5 and Terry from Fatal Fury, Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I mean, what are the freaking odds of that happening and being the last reveal? It was insane. The way they addressed this, it was insane. This is a game that celebrates imagination, nostalgia, and connection across generations of gaming. And we all owe it to one man and one man only. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the appreciation section of this podcast to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Masahiro Sakurai. Like, I feel like there is no game developer out there. I'm talking about single individual. While there is amazing like gaming creators and gaming developers out there, companies in general, this guy, his passion and his love for games pours in every single thing that he does. His work ethic, his attention to detail, his philosophy of creating games to give joy to the player, but also not only give joy to the player, but also to respect and collaborate with his team to make something that they would enjoy themselves. This is a concept that has gotten lost in translation over the past decade with so many predatory practices that our industry is facing. Masahiro Sakurai has been a proven example that you don't need all those microtransactions. You don't need all those marketing strategies. You don't need all those predatory practices for kids to buy skins or additions to the game that they're not truly like valuable. Like, yeah, I mean, you can make the argument, yeah, but he charged for the DLC. It was a very well-packed DLC. You had a character, you had a stage, you had music, tons of music, licensed music that he had to pay the licensor to put it in the game. Let's just put that into a consideration, because a lot of people forget that this game has the widest selection of gaming music out there, including third-party licensed music from other franchises that in order to put them in the game, you had to pay thousands, if not millions of dollars or yen to get the approval for. So keep that in mind. It not all the money goes in the graphics and the gameplay and the presentation. Like, those little things cost a lot of money and it's part of the development cycle. But anyway, how he kept pushing himself and his team to make each Smash entry special on its own way. And he's just one of those creators that you can tell that he does this out of love, like I said earlier. Not for fame, but just because he genuinely cares about games and the players. And, you know, and then you see all these examples of his, like, creative work when after he was done with Smash, he started his YouTube channel of giving tips and tutorials of how to create games. And genuinely enough, I watch almost every single video. Mind you, I'm not a gaming developer. I don't want to learn, but watching him telling me this stuff makes me want to learn, right? Not saying that I'm going to, but the way the production of these videos like took place and how he addressed it. And then when you get that big reveal in the end that he made these videos like 2 years in advance. He basically made his entire lifespan of YouTube channel 2 years before the YouTube channel even came out. How insane is that? And now to think that after he was done with that, and now he was like almost done with his latest project. We didn't reveal at the time, but now we know it's Kirby Air Riders. And then you see all the Kirby Air Riders information that we got recently, and you feel the same love and the same passion and the same charisma that he put into Smash Ultimate. Like, this guy loves what he does, and it's admirable. It is an example. It is how things should be for gaming. It's all about the fun, and the core concept of fun games has been getting lost year after year with this big corporation trying to take over our industry with their creative decisions, quote unquote. But they forget about the customer. They forget about the main core audience, the kids, but also the young adults like us that grew up with these franchises. And, you know, we deserve that sense of respect to get a little bit of that feeling back when we were kids and we played this game. And I feel Masahiro Sakurai, it is the perfect example of what the perfect gaming developer head should be. So with that being said, Mr. Sakurai, you're never gonna hear this, but if for some reason you come across from this, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for inspiring me as a gamer to play your games and enjoy them and truly appreciate them for what they are, which are games. I want to thank you for your love and your dedication and your hard work, your overwork for making all of us video game fans alike happy and trying to fulfill all the wishes. I know you can do them all, but what you've done so far, sir, is nothing short of amazing. I truly admire you. I truly hope to shake your hand one day. I don't know how, but thank you for being such a example and a pinnacle and a treasure for the gaming industry. Please don't change. Please don't back down. You are amazing, and I hope that your future projects are as successful, but more so, I wish you a lifetime of health and happiness. You are responsible of so many of my favorite childhood memories when playing games, and you are the reason why Super Smash Brothers as a franchise, it is, like I said, and this work keeps going on and on. It's a celebration, but it's also a core memory that will remain with me for the rest of my life. And with that, people, we have reached the end of this episode of Game and Chat. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. For those Smash Brothers fans alike, and for those who are not a fan but trying to try out the game, please do so. I'm sure you guys are gonna have a really, really good time. And to answer a little bit of rapid fire questions, I mean, it's very obvious that Banjo-Kazooie is my main, but I also play as Mr. Game & Watch. That was my main before Banjo-Kazooie came out. And then I will delve a little bit into Sephiroth and King Dedede and sometimes Mario. Again, 89, 91 characters out there. I'm sure you'll find your favorite, but who's your main? What's your favorite Smash story that you can share with us? What is your favorite reveal? Mine was Banjo, of course. Sephiroth was a very close second because it was a little bit more unexpected. But as a package, I feel like all reveals of Smash Brothers are truly special because they're curated to the audience that they're for. So again, this is a game that is welcoming everybody in the world of gaming to celebrate, and that's how we treat it as such. No shaming, no discriminating. It's just us sharing a common passion, which is video games, and celebrating them. So with that in your heads, people, again, thank you very much for listening, and I really appreciate every single one of you. I'm gonna keep playing Smash on stream, so feel free to catch me on stream when I go live at twitch.tv/1switcheroo. You can catch my gameplays, my wins, my fails, but we will get better together. So if you wanna get better with me, please jump on stream and give me a good challenge. For everybody else, if you wanna just sit back and enjoy the madness, again, twitch.tv/1switcheroo. You can also find me on my social medias with same handles, Blue Sky, X, and Instagram. And for everybody else who listens to the podcast, I really appreciate your support to this past year and a half, almost 2 years that we've been live. We are reaching the end of the season, so I hope you guys are ready because Game of the Year season is coming up and it's ramping up very, very quickly, and it's going to be one of the hardest ones definitely to experience because there were so many bangers out there this year. Expedition 33 is going to win, but anyway, I hope you guys join me for that Game of the Year end of season podcast, and I hope to see you next time. Once again, keep smashing, people. This is Daniel, aka 1-2-Switcheroo, signing off. Game on.